Hey, beautiful people, it's Dr. J, and I just want to know, how is your day? Okay, my day is doing amazing. I'm taking a meal replacement shake. Yes, I have it in my wine gobble. I'm feeling amazing. I'm looking good. I'm feeling good. And guess what? I'm smelling good too. Yes, 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 yes. I'm smelling good too. But guess what time it is? It is book club, you guys. So we are reading. For those of you who are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. The time of this recording, I'm a 3-time director, 2 times a bronze in pharmacy, and it is November 24th, 2025. And you guys are seeing my transformational journey as I'm going through my journey, and I'm encouraging you to transform and go through a journey as well. So, I talked to some people this week about being scared and low self-confidence and all those things that all of us deal with, right? And we have to feel the fear and do it anyway. Because everything we want is on the other side of whatever that thing is. It's on the other side. So it's just a matter of how bad you want to get to the other side. So we are reading Be Your Future Self. If you don't have the book, go get the book. If not, I'm going to read the book to you. Dr. Benjamin Hardy. And we're talking about the threats to your future self. So there's 7 threats to your future self. And we are on threat number 5. Threat number 5. So we've been reading all these threats. Okay, let me show you. I got my shoulder, honey. I'm really feeling good tonight, right? Feeling good, by the way, is a strategy. Yeah, I heard somebody powerful say that one. I wrote that nugget down. Feeling good is a strategy. All right, let me adjust my lighting. Okay, so Be Your Future Self Now by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. And before we get to 5 threats that are against us to be in our future self, I'm going to recap and read you threats leading up to 5. So threat number 1, without hope in your future, your present loses meaning. Just in case you're writing down, taking notes, without hope in your future, your present loses meaning. Threat number 2, a reactive narrative. Reactive narrative about your past stunts your future. A reactive narrative about your past stunts your future. Threat number 3, being unaware of your environment creates a random evolution. Threat number 3, being unaware of your environment creates a random evolution. Threat number 4, being disconnected from your future self leads to myopic decisions. If you don't know what myopic means, you're going to have to go back and watch the other videos that I've read to you about. Being disconnected from your future self leads to myopic decisions. Okay, so now we are on threat number 5. And threat number 5 is that urgent battles and small goals keep you stuck. Urgent battles and small goals keep you stuck. So being caught up in urgent battles keeps you on the hamster wheel. And so the quote to start this chapter off on page 37, you ready? By our nature as rational, conscious creatures, we cannot help but think of the future. But most people, out of fear, limit their view of the future to a narrow range. Thoughts of tomorrow, a few weeks ahead, perhaps a vague plan for the months to come. We are generally dealing with so many immediate battles that it is hard for us to lift our gaze above the moment. It is a law of power, however, that the further and deeper we contemplate the future, the greater our capacity to shape it to our desire. Let me say that last sentence again. It is a law of power, however, that the further and deeper we contemplate the future, the greater our capacity to shape it to our desires. Ooh, this one's gonna be good. I can just tell. In the 2011 science fiction film In Time, Justin Timberlake portrays a character named Will Salas who lives in the ghetto. Instead of money, time is the only currency. And everyone has a digital clock embedded into their arm indicating the amount of time they have. For example, rather than a cup of coffee costing $4, it costs 4 minutes. There are small devices used in this society similar to a credit card machine that add or take away time when scanned on a person's arm clock. Until the age of 25, your clock doesn't start ticking. Once you hit your 25th birthday, you have 1 year's time on your clock, which immediately starts ticking down. At age 25, you stop physically aging. Whether you're 28, 49, or 302, you look as you did when your clock started ticking. You live as long as you have time. The people living in the ghetto are living day to day, while those in the highest time zone can conceivably live forever with decades or centuries of time on their clocks. In the ghetto, people depend on the time added to their clocks at the end of each work shift. They get just enough time to get them to the end of tomorrow's shift where they'll get their next allotment. Chained to their jobs or other dangerous and desperate means for their livelihood, those in the ghetto rarely have more than 24 hours on their clocks. They don't have enough time to step away from their rat race to strategize or think about creating a better future. A fundamental aspect of the film is that once you clock out or run out of time, you die. People in the ghetto are found dead on the streets all the time. There's a day-to-day mad rush and desperation to survive. There is no thriving. In the film, economic status is portrayed as a higher time zone with better jobs and living conditions. To get out of the ghetto and into the lower middle class, time zone costs 1 month's time. To get from the lower middle class time zone into the middle class costs 2 months' time. To get from the middle class time zone into the upper middle class costs 6 months' time. To get from the upper middle class time zone into New Greenwich, which represents the 1% of the 1% mega wealthy, costs 1 year's worth of time. The cost of living in each time zone also goes up dramatically. And restaurants in New Greenwich charge more than a month of time for a meal. The restaurants, rather. The houses cost several years or decades. Crossing to a higher time zone requires the income to support that higher lifestyle. I'm sure y'all can relate to this, right? So the probability of someone in the ghetto ever accumulating a month of time is unlikely. And the people who newly turned 25 rarely go to the higher time zones because to do so, they'd have to leave family behind. Will's family was in such debt that all of his time was spent and gone a week after his 25th birthday. An interesting thing to note is that everything feels slower in the higher time zones because people have an enormous amount of time. They are never in a rush. Conversely, the people in the lower time zones have far less time, So they're always rushing and busy. It's much more stressful. Similar to that sci-fi movie, most human behavior is driven by very short-term goals, including eating, paying bills, getting to work, getting the kids to school, rotating the tires, and brushing your teeth. It's day-to-day living, or at most, month-to-month living, with an occasional vacation planned in there. In 1906, Alfred Henry Lewis stated, "There are only 9 meals between mankind and anarchy. Many people are around 9 meals away from hunger. Most don't have a 6-month food supply. They don't have 12 months of emergency cash. The reason they're living day to day is because their goals are day to day. Get to work, get to lunch, get to the end of the day, get to the weekend, pay the bills. The future many pursue is only a step ahead." And we feel like the system is designed to keep people stuck in this survival mode way of living. If you're living day to day, you're always in a hurry. When you're engaged in short-term goals, your time spirals quicker and quicker. Like a hamster on a wheel. You're living lots of years and expending lots of energy, but not making progress. Let me say that again, read that again. When you're engaged in short-term goals, your time spirals quicker and quicker, like a hamster on a wheel. You're living lots of years and expending lots of energy, but not making progress. To exit the rat race of day-to-day mindset requires a shift in your focus. Yes, a shift in your focus. Connect to a bigger future. If you get serious and started investing and learning, where could you be in 5 years? In 5 years, Mr. Beast went from a 17-year-old kid with no money and little skills to making tens of millions of dollars and being one of the most famous people in the world. The way to slow down time and really make progress is to lift your gaze and begin thinking much bigger and further out. The 34th United States President, Dwight D. Eisenhower, famously said, "I have 2 kinds of problems, the urgent and the important. The urgent are not important, and the important are never urgent." Business strategist D. Stephen Covey used rocks, pebbles, and a bucket to teach time management. In the activity, he filled the bucket with the small pebbles and then added the medium and large rocks. However, with the small pebbles taking up the bottom half of the bucket, the medium and large rocks couldn't all fit. He emptied the bucket and started over. This time, put in the medium and large rocks first and pour the pebbles into the gaps around the large rocks. By putting first things first, like magic, everything else fits in the same space. Putting the pebbles in first is majoring in minor things. Covey said the bucket symbolizes our time. The medium and large rocks represent important activities such as relationships, planning, learning, and health. The pebbles represent urgent activities such as checking email and going to meetings. When we put the urgent before the important, we never get to the important. Playwright Meredith Willson wrote, "You pile up enough tomorrows, you'll find you are left with nothing but a lot of empty yesterdays." Ooh. Let me say that again. Playwright Meredith Willson wrote, "If you pile up enough tomorrows, you'll find you are left with nothing but a lot of empty yesterdays." The only way off the day-to-day hamster wheel is to prioritize the important. You give yourself space to think beyond your current context and really start investing in yourself. Put the important before the urgent. Lift your gaze and begin connecting with your longer-term future self. Develop goals that are 5 years out and prioritize those big goals before the urgent daily battles. Threat number 5 is thinking far too short term and urgent in your goals and way too small about your future. This is a formula to exhaust extreme effort, but stay in the same place. This is good. Y'all want some more? Type more in the chat. Type more in the comments, please, if you want some more, okay? More. After grinding away the first 50 years of his life, business mogul Grant Cardone realized that while his work ethic was solid, his goals were too small. You could work 80 hours per week towards a six-figure income, or you could work 80 hours per week toward a 7 or 8-figure income. The amount of work isn't what matters. It's what that work is going towards. As Cardone explained in his book, The 10X Rule, personally, the biggest mistake I've made is failing to set my targets high enough in both personal and professional aspects of my life. It takes the same amount of energy to have a great marriage as it does an average one, just as it takes the same amount of energy and effort to make $10 million as it does $10,000. Grant Cardone was born March 28, 1959 in Lake Charles, Louisiana. He published the 10X Rule in 2011 when he was 52 years old. The release of that book was an inflection point in Cardone's career. A relatively successful millionaire, he ran sales and real estate companies since the late 80s. But when he published the 10X Rule and committed to living a much higher vision, he became far more courageous and bolder. We're not just talking about self-esteem. We're not just talking about fear in the beginning. He became far more courageous and bolder. You got to put support systems around you and do what you need to do so you can feel courageous and bolder. So the book, him writing the book and getting it out helped him to be more courageous and bolder. A relatively successful millionaire, he ran sales and real estate companies since the 80s. But when he published the 10X Rule and committed, that's why I reread that, because I wanted you to hear that nugget, committed to living a much higher vision, he became far more courageous and bolder. So it wasn't the book. It was his commitment to living a higher vision. Okay? In 2012, he made the single largest private equity acquisition in Florida, consisting of 5 large-scale properties. From 2011 to 2021, he 10x'd his net worth from approximately $20 million to more than $300 million, creating a portfolio worth several $billion. Cardone radically elevated his vision. What opportunities are you missing simply because you're so focused on your urgent and small goals? Suffering from inattentional blindness. People are so busy looking for bronze coins that they can't see the gold coins all around them. You get what you're looking for. You see what you're currently measuring. All the while, there are insane life-changing opportunities sitting right in front of your face right now. Gold coins. The problem for you and me is we don't see those opportunities. To see the world differently, ask different questions. Rather than ask, how can I make 100,000 this year? Ask, how can I make 10 million this year? Elevate your vision. Different questions spark innovative thinking and new angles. Psychologist and spiritual teacher Dr. Wayne Dyer said, when you change the way you see things, the things you see change. When you change what you're looking for, you change what you see. Different questions spark innovative thinking and new angles. Psychologist and spiritual teacher Dr. Wayne Dyer said, when you change the way you see things, the things you see change. When you change what you're looking for, you change what you see. Trade inattentional blindness for selective attention. Clarify what you're looking for, and you'll see it everywhere. What was once hidden in plain sight will become radically obvious. You see what you're looking for. Make your vision absurdly bigger, and you'll immediately see pathways to get there. Dan Sullivan said, our eyes only see and our ears only hear what our brain is looking for. A massive threat to your future self is simply that you're thinking way too small. Multiply your vision 10 times or 100 times larger. You'll be forced to understand the principles, rules, and strategies of living at a higher level. Instead of working harder, elevate what you think you can do. As the late advertising legend Paul Arden said, you need to aim beyond what you're capable of. You need to develop a complete disregard for where your abilities end. If you think you're able to work for the best company in the sphere, make that your aim. If you think you're unable to be on the cover of Time magazine, make it your business to be there. Make your vision of where you want to be a reality. Nothing is impossible. A pervasive threat to your future self is being caught up in both urgent and small goals. Ooh, we're going to stop there. Make sure you guys like and subscribe so that you can hear what threat number 6 is. I can't wait. This is exciting, you guys. This is so exciting. So like and subscribe and share this with somebody that you know this could be a blessing to. I'm Dr. J, and you have an amazing, wonderful day. Take care. Cheers to your health. Cheers to a higher, elevated vision.